Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Get ready for a jaw-dropping tale where fashion meets fur in the most unexpected way. In today's story, we dive into an encounter between a dedicated dog breeder and a woman who sees puppies as mere accessories. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Entitled woman wants to buy my Pomeranian pup because she matches her Gucci bag. The cast: GW, Gucci woman, Blaze, fur baby extraordinaire, and me, obvious. This happened over 10 years ago. One of my Pomeranians had 5 gorgeous little pup-pups who we named Callisto, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Blaze. We decided to keep one to keep the bloodline going, we fixed her mom after, and find homes for the rest. So we put out some purebred, pampered Pomeranian pups for sale with pictures, ads on certain legitimate sites. I actually tried Craigslist, but all I got were perverts calling up expecting, of all things, hookers? I pulled the ad 36 hours after I put it up. I know some of you are asking, why did we charge? Why not just give them away? It wasn't about money, so don't even go there. We only charged for the cost of food, vaccinations, and grooming. We charged because we'd learned a long time ago that when people get free stuff, they tend to rarely, if ever, take care of it. It's one thing to treat a piece of furniture or a car like crap, but an entirely different thing when it's a living, breathing animal. For us, it's always been about making sure whoever got our little fur babies would be able to give them a good home, lots of love and attention, and be able to pay for good food and any vet bills should the dog become sick or hurt. We also ask, should they be unable to keep them for any reason, they bring them back to us, and if they do so within 6 months of adoption, we'll refund their money. We also insist on face-to-face interviews and a meeting between the dog and prospective parent to make sure they're compatible. This is very important. We ask lots of questions in order to weed out people who have no dog experience. Poms can be high maintenance and aren't a beginner's dog. People who are getting a gift for their toddler, grandkid, etc. People who want a breeder/stud dog, and those who desire a handbag dog. This was especially prevalent when Paris Hilton was popular. This will be relevant. This story's about the last category. I'd arranged to meet this woman, GW, at a busy coffee shop near a police station. I'm not stupid. Poms are an expensive breed and people are unpredictable and nuts. GW was around early to mid-20s, pretty, immaculately dressed with perfect everything, hair, nails, etc., and carrying a big black and tan Gucci bag. I knew it was Gucci because she told me. Several times. Despite her being the groom to the eyeballs type, the interview went pretty well and Blaze seemed to like her, though she is a shy dog. GW was friendly, told me she'd grown up around dogs, had a house with a good-sized backyard, knew a good groomer. I knew the guy, so all good. Named the vet she took her mom's dog to. This should have been a red flag when she said mom's dog, and I could see she definitely had the money to take care of the pup she wanted. She wanted Blaze, who's what's called a wolf sable, which is a black and tan with some white on the chest. So far, the interview was going well. That is until I asked this question. Me. So what made you decide on a Pomeranian? GW. Well, they're just so adorable and cuddly. And Blaze is just the perfect dog. She's the right size, the right sex, and she totally matches my Gucci bag. You almost hear the screech of tires in my head at these words. I felt my jaw hit the table. Me. What? GW. My Gucci bag. Holds it up for emphasis. She's so small and cute and matches it so well. She'll fit into it perfectly, she giggled. Actually effing giggled. I was aghast. Was she out of her mind? Me picking my jaw back up. I'm sorry, GW. Not sorry in the least, but this isn't going to work out, and I can't sell her to you. GW confused. What do you mean? Why not? Me. Because she's a dog, not an accessory. GW, annoyed. I know she's a dog. Me, even more annoyed, but that's not why you want her. You want her because she matches your stupid bag. You see her as an accessory, as a toy. What are you going to do if you have to get a different color bag? Give her away? Get another puppy? Have her dyed to match? I was nearly shouting at this point. GW's face went scarlet. She opened and closed her mouth several times but said nothing. Me. You're getting a dog for all the wrong reasons. I can't and won't sell her to you. I suggest you go to FAO Schwartz and get yourself a plushie. I stood to leave. GW, sounding almost desperate. I'll pay more. How does $500 extra sound? Note, I was charging $350. Me. No. GW. $600. She matches my bag so well. This was definitely the wrong thing to say. The audacity of this woman. Me shaking my head and rolling my eyes. Sorry, Paris, not a chance. Seek life elsewhere. With that and one final glare, I grabbed the carrier with my precious blaze in it, turned and left as GW stood there doing a pretty good open-mouth fish impression. GW called several times as I drove home, leaving messages on my phone that varied from begging to whining to threatening litigation and breach of contract, but she gave up after 3 days of ignoring her messages. I did, however, contact all the other reputable small dog breeders, including ones in other states I could find, and told them not to sell to this woman. I even played some of the crazier messages she left. I even called some pet stores and the local ASPCAs, just in case. I effectively blacklisted GW from getting a dog from any reputable breeder, pet store, or adoption place. Don't know if she ever got her handbag dog, but at least she didn't get my precious Blaze, whom I still have to this day. You are one great dog breeder. That's exactly how this has to be done. The way you handled it just shows that you care about these sweet pups and want them to find a good home. And our second story. Why doesn't it say card only? It does, in 3 different places. This story's a few years old as I no longer work in retail, but it was still one of my most satisfying stories. At the time of this story, I worked at a home improvement retail store. I was a cashier, and on this particular day, I was scheduled to run the self-checkout / assisted checkout, or SCO, ACO. It went by both names. Now, for this to make sense, I have to describe the SCO machines. We had 4 SCO machines. On the left side, the machines took cash and card. On the right side, they only took card. The card-only machine said they were card-only in 3 different places. The first places was on the light for the SCO register. The second places was on the counter where you set your things in big letters. The third place is on the screen of the SCO machine before you start checking out. Despite the fact that there were so many things saying the machines were card-only SCO machines, it was very common for people to attempt to pay cash. Usually, I was able to just suspend the transaction and take them to a machine that took cash so they wouldn't have to restart the transaction, and they would usually laugh at how they missed it being card-only. However, if this was one of the instances where they laughed the mistake off, I wouldn't be posting here. I had a man at one of our card-only SCO registers. I can't really remember what he looked like, but I believe he was in his 30s. I was probably 19 or 20 at the time. I noticed him with some cash trying to find a place to put it in. He looks around and makes eye contact with me. I was already on my way over, so he started to ask me a question immediately. Cast. Man, the customer. Me, well, me. Man, where do I put in the cash? Me, smiling and chuckling as this is a common occurrence. Oh, this is a card-only machine. I can suspend the transaction and take you over to the one that takes cash. Man, annoyed and with attitude. Well, why doesn't it say card-only then? I stopped smiling and just decided to be blunt because his inability to pay attention was not my fault, and I said, it does. It says it right here, points to counter. Up there, points to SCO light, and it says it on the screen before you start checking out. This man was silent the rest of the time. He didn't say another word. He didn't apologize, didn't thank me, nothing. He was just silent as I suspended his transaction and took him to the cash machine so he could finish up. I honestly don't care that he didn't apologize for his rudeness. It was satisfying to embarrass him into silence. I'd like to think he learned to pay attention and not blame others for his mistakes, but that's probably wishful thinking. That's really not that bad compared to how crazy people can get. A Karen would have reported you to the manager for not being helpful and having an attitude. And our last story. Lady, this house is ours now. When we purchased our home just over 2 years ago, it seemed like the perfect opportunity to build our own space and make it truly ours. We bought it from an old lady who was downsizing to move into a retirement village because maintaining such a big house was too much for her. Little did I know she'd still act like the house was hers. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. She asked if she could come over to take some of the plants from the garden. Since we were already planning to renovate the yard and those plants were going to be removed anyway, I figured there was no harm in letting her take them. But that was just the beginning. Not long after, she kept asking for things as if she still had a claim to the property. One time, she wanted to know if she could give our old, dilapidated shed to her cleaning lady. By the time she asked, we'd already gotten rid of the shed. It was falling apart and had no real use for us. Still, I brushed it off, thinking it was just one of those odd requests. A few months later, I noticed her in our garden again, this time helping herself to the mangoes from our tree. The problem wasn't just that she was taking mangoes without asking, but they were completely green, nowhere near ripe. My partner and I had been waiting for them to ripen and planned to enjoy them as they did, but there she was, treating the garden like her personal fruit stand. It started to feel like she couldn't let go of the fact that this house wasn't hers anymore. Today, she called again, this time asking if she could come by to pick lemons because she happened to be in the area. By now, we'd put up a big wall for privacy, so it wasn't as easy for her to waltz into the yard. The wall was a much-needed addition to make our home feel more secure and private, especially for me. I'm on the autism spectrum, and having someone intrude on my personal space is extremely upsetting. The yard's my sanctuary, a place where I can find peace and quiet. Her repeated requests, though seemingly small, felt like constant invasions of that safe space. It's not really about the lemons, it's about the fact that she keeps treating the place like it's still hers. And every time she makes one of these requests, it chips away at the peace I've worked so hard to create here. I don't want to be rude or cause any drama, especially since she's still friendly with the neighbors and I value the good relationships we've built with them, but enough is enough. It's time for me to set clear boundaries, and I know it's going to be difficult. I'm torn between not wanting to upset the neighborhood dynamics and the very real need to protect my own mental health and sense of security. I just hope she can understand that this place is ours now, and we deserve the space to live in it freely without her popping in for fruit or plants whenever she pleases. Either you feed the stray cat or you don't. If you do, she'll keep coming around. Can I have lemons? Sorry, we have plans for our crop this year. Rinse and repeat. Every single time you give her what she wants, she feels entitled to it every single time. Cut her off nicely, but cut her off. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.